Hello again. Welcome to another episode of the DCHL Outsider Podcast. I am joined with the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Fru. Joe, give us a quick little intro and let the casual listener who's not a DCHL insider on let them know a little bit about you.
A little bit about me. Everybody calls me old man. Suds likes to troll me every other minute about my age, but it is what it is. I am co-captain of DCHL Puck University and just a regular player on DCHL D2 Youngbloods, and co-captain and co-founder of MDHL D1 Crease Crashers. And this season, I'm new on MDHL D2 Gwendolyn Guardians.
Not generally known as a Gwendolyn Guardian, but you are a new addition to that team, which is not bad.
I think I'm the token non-Gwendolyn person. Like I've never played there, but I feel like maybe they have to have a special non-Gwendolyn person just for diversity or something. I've only played 2 games with that team, but it's a really fun squad to play with.
It is. It is definitely it's a good group, you know. So so that is Joe Fru for you right there. Generally gets a little grief for the old man goal stuff, but man, I'll tell you, you score a lot of goals.
I have my moments. I tend to score more on Sundays and Wednesdays. I'm trying to fix that.
So
but people forget about me.
When did you join when did you join Youngbloods?
Youngbloods was about a year ago, or sort of middle of last year. They were just hit with injuries. I know Josh was hurt, and a few other people were hurt, and so I joined mid-season, like part-time, just to kind of help. And I really don't know. There are many people on that team who are better and more skilled than I am. I think I've scored almost every game I've played with that team. I don't know what it is. I'm not that good. It just sort of happens. Playing with people like Austin and Taylor and Kate and Patrick really make me better. So I'll take it.
That helps a little bit right here. So in terms of goal scoring prowess, okay. Because again, I mean, it happens every week. When you do the streaming or you do podcasts and this and that, it's some names just keep coming up here and there. So did a quick little did some research here. I do my homework. Not really. So last season on the Rogue OneTimers where you played.
Oh, in Rec. When I was in Rec. Yeah.
When you were in Rec last season. 10 games. How many goals and assists do you think you had?
I had a good run at one point. Maybe 7 goals, 6
7
goals.
7 goals.
Okay.
7 goals, 5 assists. And we can go look at Puck U the last couple of seasons. Fall 2018 last season, 3 goals, 5 assists. Second on the team in points. Season before that in Puck U spring, you had 3 goals, 2 assists. Before that, you had a bit of an off season in winter 2018. 1 goal, 4 assists. It's a little bit of a light season right there, but it happens now and then. But on NZT Neutral Zone Trap that became the Youngbloods, your first season, 4 games, 4 goals. That was your partial season in spring. And then when you go to fall last season, you had 3 goals, 2 assists right there. Consistent goal score, which you slip under the radar a lot. I don't know how that happens. What advice do you have for to just goals are you just grind, you do your thing, you're unassuming, you kill people with politeness?
Yes, all those things. So I grind. I mean, a lot of that is I am very lucky to play with people like Jake Smith and Kate Petrikis and Austin and Patrick, people who set me up. Because I know I am never going to be the dominant, Jake Verby, Andrew Kramer, Sean Miller type who could just run through people. That's never going to be me.
Yeah.
I have to be kind of clever and get open, and especially when I play with people like Jake Smith and Austin, where they are so good possessing the ball. that gives me time to get open, and then they can sometimes they thread a really nice pass to me, or but I really don't know. Like I'm not some big fancy good player, but maybe because I'm unassuming, people forget about me.
So Puck University right now, one of the few undefeated teams in the D1, as being the DCHL Sunday thing, the only undefeated team in the D1 division. But these games are exceptionally close here. Your spread is 11 goals for and 7 against, which means 2 1-goal games and 1 2-goal game recently. Unfortunately, two of the games had been canceled, so we're a little behind on the season.
Mm-hmm.
But how does that work in terms of winning your close games? What do you do to get there?
Team defense. I mean, we played Puck Buddies yesterday, and because Jason Maxine's been hurt and he wasn't there, so he's sort of asking for the updates after. And what I told him is what I'll say again now, that it was all 5 people on the floor, or whatever 5 it was, were sort of playing defense as a unit, and limiting shots against and getting good clears out. That team has always played good team defense. I mean, that's one of the reasons I really enjoy it and probably play well on it. But there is a little bit of a sort of cardiac hockey feel with each of the 3 games have been decided, or mostly been decided by 1 goal scored with under 2 minutes left. Thank you, Sean Miller. Thank you, Josh Lerner.
And those guys are pretty good at scoring some goals. So
those sort of clutch late goals, but I think if you probably go back over our history, we have a lot of like 1-goal games either way. Feels like every time we play Puck Buddies or White Walkers, somebody wins by 1 goal. So I think some of that is that the experience of like, okay, this is a tight game, and of course lately, because Jason's been hurt, I've been solo captaining, so that of course has something to do with it, right?
I mean,
leading my team from the bench.
I mean, I've noticed a lot less yelling on the team, so I'm not saying to give Jason an extended vacation, but the league's collective eardrums are very happy.
No comment on that one. just kidding, Jason. I know you're listening to this.
So you do a lot of captaining for Puck University and for Crease Crashers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you prefer to be captain or an assistant, or would you rather just be a player? Like, what do you look for? I mean, you clearly don't want the spotlight. I mean, we all do, but we all don't. So, do you prefer to captain, or do you prefer to just be the yes, I'll make it kind of player?
I kind of prefer to be the captain, only because like part of this is probably because I was a teacher for a very long time. Like I'm good at like organizing people.
Okay.
And I think a little bit of it is like a control element. Like sometimes if I just want to be the one in charge, but if I kind of know, like I know like line or player combinations that work well, I like to just go with it. And I'm good with dealing with the other captains.
Okay.
In terms of like subs and things. So I would, if given the choice, I would rather be captain than just a regular player.
Okay. So you mentioned that you were a former teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you want to talk about, or?
I mean, not too. I mean, I don't want to bore people too much with having been. I was an English professor for a long time, but that at least helped. That's helped me communicate and organize people.
You are the league official proofreader for any documents that are sent out. So whenever Sud sends anything out, Joe recommends as many italics, as many bolds. You need to grab people's attention, and that's what Joe recommends. So anytime you get those letters with with lots of big yellow and red words on them, make sure you think of Joe.
Yeah, sure. Because that's my idea, all the colorful fonts and things. But
probably
whatever works. But yeah, I mean, it taught me funnily, like what Jason and Barb way back when asked me to help co-captain Puck U. This is about 4 years ago. And right from the beginning, Jason asked me to be the one who like does the team emails and subs. He goes, "You're a better writer than I am. Just can you please handle it?" So now like that's been my thing now, going on 4 years of just sort of giving the roll call and dealing with other captains, because whatever writing skills I have, it seems to work.
So beyond that,
Yes.
How'd you get into the league, and how'd you get in the hockey just in the first place? Where did the story begin?
Into the league was Jess. Well, then she was Jess Sheehan, but now it's Jess Kalmanson. I had played with her and Brian Keefe at Barcroft.
Okay.
And then it was like spring 2014. Jess at the time was on the All Blacks, who were at the time, I think it wasn't even called D1. I think it was maybe the Elite Division, wherever that division used to be called in 2014.
There were only like 2 divisions or something at that time, I believe.
Yeah, that was old school of like. I mean, I think there were still Puck Buddies, but then there was Untouchables. There was I know the
Snake
Ducks,
Eyes.
Snake Eyes. There was the Ducks. Who else? There was the old version of Babylon Warriors.
Yeah.
Was in that division too. So Jess was basically my way into the league, and then I played with the All Blacks for about a year, and then switched to Puck University. That was 2015, and then at the time David Altschuler was on Puck U, and then he left, and I helped, and then Jason and I have sort of built that team since then.
Yeah, David's doing a great job with Gwendolyn, though.
He is. He's sort of
it's amazing. Yeah, he is like King Gwendolyn, and
he really is.
It cracks me up because like I just see how I see how quickly Gwendolyn's grown, and like the players they're putting out is it's pretty amazing that I just think of all these players that started out in rec and now they're D4. Now you got some D3 stars, and the players that just keep getting better, and to develop that much talent is unbelievable.
I don't know where he finds these people. He's got this talent pipeline.
Oh, I know.
They're all like one thing I've noticed, like when I used to play against Gwendolyn teams in MDHL Rec, and now with a Gwendolyn team in MDHL D2, is that they really buy into like team play.
Yeah.
And so it isn't a sense of like, okay, you could just shut down Sam or Aaron because they're unselfish and they're going to make a nice pass or they're going to look for the open man.
Yep. Yeah, you shut down one, the next person's going to beat you.
And that's very hard to defend.
Yep.
And that's I really maybe I should go start playing in Gwendolyn. I don't know what's going on over there, but it seems like this team building that David is spearheading is I mean, good for him. Look how many people he's brought into the league.
Oh, I know.
Since those teams started.
And they win a lot of championships.
They do. Those are good team players.
Yeah.
Who play there.
So, enough about David here. Never enough, but for the moment. So where are you from originally? Give me your backstory.
My backstory. I'm originally from Central New Jersey.
Central New Jersey.
Grew up a Devils fan. And then I moved to DC 21 years ago to start a graduate program. So that's when I did a PhD in English.
Okay.
And then I used to play at Barcroft. I played there from like early 2000s up until about 2015. And now they don't even play at Barcroft anymore. Now it's Arlington Mills down the road.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't played there in years, but I know it's changed a lot. Where a lot of it went from kind of a recreational league to like a casual league for all the studs who play at Rockville and Seminary. And on a super small court with no icing and no offsides. I mean, it's got to be just a shooting gallery now. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just say, and then after I stopped there, then now I just exclusively play at Rockville on Sundays and Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, we're gonna get a quick little rapid fire. I love this because I make up questions on the fly and just I need you to answer them on the fly. So we've been talking a lot about food recently because I don't know why. I think I must be doing these podcasts hungry. So we're gonna try to avoid food right now.
All right.
So just rapid fire 2 minutes. All right, Joe. Ready, set, go. Who's your favorite hockey player in DCHL leagues?
Jake Smith, because he makes me better somehow.
Okay. Who's your favorite NHL player of all time?
All time. Oh, God, that's a tough one. He's not flashy, but I really liked him. John Madden, he used to play the Devils.
Okay,
He
John
was
Madden
just
of the
that
Devils.
scrappy two-way player who, people sort of loved to have with and hated to play against.
Okay, what's your favorite book?
Book, 100 Years of Solitude, Gabriel
Okay.
Garcia Marquez.
Okay. Favorite candy bar? I always go to the candy bar question, man.
Payday.
Payday's fine. Payday's a fine
Mike
candy
Huber makes fun of me for that, but I can buy my choice.
What is the last thing you ate for dinner?
I had some stir-fried vegetables and tofu over rice.
That sounds disgusting. Have you ever played? What's your favorite video game that you've ever played in an arcade?
In an arcade, Galaga.
Good answer. Good answer. You're back. You're back on my good side.
I'm old with all like original arcade games, so
Good,
that's what I'm
good,
doing.
man. What's your favorite sport besides hockey?
To play or to watch?
Both.
That's tough.
One answer for each.
I used to really like baseball, but it started to bore me a lot.
Yeah, that's baseball for you.
You know what I really like to watch now is curling.
Okay.
And it sort of started in the 2010 Winter Olympics. I turned it on like for just curiosity and thinking like, oh, this is so stupid and boring. Why do people watch this? And then 10 minutes later, I'm Googling the rules, and I just watched it the rest of the Olympics. It was just one of those humbling moments of,
Okay. Did you listen to last week's podcast with our curling superstar, Derek O'Halloran?
I didn't. I'm sorry I missed that. Derek is a fellow old guy, so I probably should have watched that.
Derek,
for solidarity.
Derek's a curling legend apparently up in Canada. He was in the newspaper apparently.
I never knew that.
Yeah, neither did I. It was pretty eye-opening, man. It was awesome. It was pretty cool to find that out. He is. He's like, yeah, apparently it's a big deal. He's like a perfect round or something. I don't know. I guess I got to figure out what exactly he was talking about, but he's got me reading the Giver right now, so I got a lot of Derek homework going on.
Oh, Derek.
So what is one awesome random fact about you?
Awesome random fact about me. I've been on the news a few times, and I'm not camera shy.
Okay. Oh God. Okay. So the problem with that, Joe, you did that's a very poor answer, and I'm going to tell you why.
I think I shot myself in the foot.
Well, when you say you've been on the news a few times, you got to tell me what for, because you can't be like, oh, I've been on the news a bunch of times. Like, I mean, are you walking around? Have you been handcuffed? I mean, you got to give some specifics there, because without context, man, you sound like a shady individual.
Well, maybe I like that, like to keep an air of mystery around me. It was in my last couple years of teaching.
Okay.
When I was doing a lot of activism for like part-time college faculty. So it was twice I was on PBS NewsHour, and another time I did a video for the Chronicle of Higher Education. If anybody's really curious, you can ping me and I could share the videos with you. I have proof.
Well, all I'm going to say is you don't really need to ping him, because I just Googled you I put you in on YouTube, and there are two things that were pulled up here, and then
nice.
for some reason Bob Seger's Old Time Rock and Roll.
That I couldn't even
big
tell
time.
You
I can't figure that one out, but
you might also, and if anybody is curious what I was like in professor mode, that's also on YouTube from a talk I did at the Library of Congress. I had a whole life before I met most of you people.
Oh my gosh,
a whole different thing.
We will have to get some of these videos and put them in the link section or comment section. But Do you have you got a final parting thought for DCHL leagues? You've been playing for a while. What is one thing you really like about the league, or something that you've glad to see happen or change or anything like that?
I really like the community aspect. Whether that's just sort of like going out after games or a tournament, or just um, sometimes just chatting with people during the week. Like if I'm bored, I'll just ping somebody and we'll BS for 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
The community aspect is really nice. Um, what you say? What I would change?
Yeah, one thing you would change, because I mean, I already have this answer just chambered, so I know exactly the one thing I would change if I could. So I'm trying to get more feedback, see what other people think and what they would like changed if given the option. If you were suds for a day.
If I was suds for a day, one thing that this is specific to MDHL, but to occasionally for variety have like D1 or D2 be draft divisions to play with and against different people.
Mm-hmm.
Because the tricky thing about MDHL D1 is that there are only 4 teams. So you're basically playing the same 3 teams. I know in the past we've tried crossover, and that wasn't fair really to the
Yeah,
D2
varying success in the crossover games.
But so that would be I know that's easier said than done, but that would be good. But then something league wide. What would
I mean,
this is a good one. You really got me
have the X
thinking about this.
division. Sunday used to have the X division, which
X was fun.
yeah.
Again, for I think the variety is good. Like if there were, I don't know if we could really bring back the X division, but
I think there's too many teams in the league to make X division happen.
Yeah, there were way fewer teams at that point, and I remember it was always like midday.
Yeah.
But if there were a way for like some variety, because it'd be nice to see to play with certain people for a change.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of players tend to play together, and I mean that's why my favorite division I'd ever play in was X. I started playing when like right around the end of the X division, and I like the option of just the opportunity to just play with random people one season and just play with more random. That's an easy way to get to know people.
Yeah, I mean I like that with tournaments too. If it's someone you only ever played against. Like, I mean there's like certain people like Jamie Brennan who I feel like I always play against, but I think we were on a tournament team once and it was fun. Like, oh, I actually don't have to worry about him now because he's on my team.
Yeah.
Or there's sort of certain of those.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's
the people you hate to play. The people you hate to play against. Like, oh, I get a break. Like I don't. There was a tournament where I got to play with Tyler Midwinter, which was so nice because he's so good, and like he's so much better than I am. He just goes right by me. But to actually be on his team, and not only with his skill, but like with he's a good like playmaker and a good sort of boost.
Okay.
So that either tournaments or X or something where we could have more to play with people we're usually against, I think would be nice.
Got you. Okay. That's
what is your answer? What is that you have in the chamber?
I mean, this is the one rule I can't stand. I mean, the rule. I mean, the rules are fine. This and that. I'm not a fan of the dead ball on something where you catch it and you close your hand a little bit on it.
Okay.
It's one of those things like I don't like it. It's really kind of like ticky tacky, and it really kind of like just puts a quick halt to a game. And kind of throws things out, and it impedes a good play a lot of the time. And it's it's again it's one of those things, it's really small. I mean, like if that's at the end of the day, if that's your biggest complaint about the league, it's something's going right.
Yeah, that's a very much like that's a first world kind of problem.
Exactly.
I'm surprised you haven't asked me about Jason because he's the league very well known in the league.
Oh my gosh.
I keep him calm.
You're doing your best. You're fighting a losing battle, and you're failing, but you're not failing that hard.
He's a great teammate.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with him as a teammate. But yeah, then I'm your buffer, so I know Suds always jokes that I'm too old for Sunday D1, but without me, let's just leave it at that. Yeah. Everyone owes me.
They owe you a drink, right? That's why you want league happy hour. So everyone's like, hey man, I muzzle Maxstein. You owe me a shot.
I have no idea what I protect you from. We're kidding, Jason. You're a wonderful person and a good team.
But on that note, I think we are. I think we're gonna give you one little final curtain call for the moment, and then we're gonna get into the league recap for the scores on Sunday, where you had a goal for Puck University and you had a goal for Youngbloods.
I did, yeah. Well, the Puck University one was an empty netter with 10 seconds left.
Goals is goals.
Goals are goals, and of course, me forechecking means Jake Berube doesn't have the ball to.
There you go.
A last-minute goal to take a win for my team, so I'll take it.
That's the spirit.
And Youngbloods was early in the game, and it ended up holding up as the game.
That was a sick goal.
To shut out Yager Bombs feels like it should be. We get an extra standing point. We're like with that talent.
Going against Sean Miller and Steinitz, it's
Sean, Paul. Who else played yesterday? Daniel
was there. I mean, all the team's loaded. I mean,
Matt Kowalski, who's like one of these sleeper players.
Yep,
like
Kowalski.
When you're looking at all the really good guys, Matt sneaks in and scores a goal on you.
Yep, play with him on Blue Steel. I mean, I saw him on Yager Bombs. Said this dude's good. Got him on Blue Steel. Dave Boyer's on that team. I mean, it's just loaded. I mean, it's just a really good team, and you blanked them. And they're having a little bit of a rough season right now. We got to figure that one out for them. But D2 is exciting. D1's exciting. On that note, Joe, we're gonna catch you later, and you can see Joe Sunday for Youngbloods. You can see him for Puck University, and if you can't wait till Sunday, you can see him on Crease Crashers coming up this Wednesday.
And Gwendolyn Guardians.
And the Guardians.
As the token on Gwendolyn guy.
Yeah, it's always hard to say. It's like I don't know if this team has a bye this week. There's so many byes on Wednesday. I was like I only know Crease Crashers are playing Wednesday. I couldn't tell about Guardians. It's a 50-50. I'm gonna hedge my bets and not say anything.
Guardians play. We have Green Monkeys.
Nice. That's some good games.
That'll be a fun one because that's another loaded D2 team. So
yeah. All right, Joe, man. Thanks for doing a cast, and we'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Wednesday.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So MDHL had some very exciting games last Wednesday. So let's get into it. We had Blade Runners against the Green Monkeys right here. This was a matchup of two very, very evenly matched teams here. Blade Runners get on the board early. Simon scores unassisted, but Kevin Foley and Josh Grivers respond. Late in the second, Simon scores a power play goal, and that will make it a 2-2 tie right there. Jason Boyd made 30 saves for the Monkeys, and Dennis 26 for the Blade Runners right there. Good goalie matchup. Both of these teams are full of high-scoring players, so for it to end 2-2 is pretty crazy. So the goalies played very, very well. Awesome. Blue Steel played the Wu-Tang Clan in another D2 matchup right there. Blue Steel looking strong right now. Came out a little flat. Carlos Cruz and John Mann scored for Wu-Tang Clan. But Blue Steel responded. Cintron, Joe Shea, Juliet all scored, and Daniel Ruber there in between to make it 4-2 Blue Steel. This game was hugely decided by Eric in net. He came up big, made a bunch of very, very key saves on high-quality chances. He came up big against a couple breakaways, and that was definitely a deciding factor in that game. If Blue Steel has strong goaltending, I think they can definitely be a contender this season. Rogue One-Timers against the Islanders. One-Timers won this game 6-3. It was a 3-2 game at half, and then at the end, the One-Timers pulled away. This was a game, a lot of random players scored for One-Timers. 5 different goal scorers. Derek O'Halloran scored. Joel Horde with 2. Kevin Foley, Lou Fontek, and Andrew Nicholson scored for the One-Timers. They are 2-0 right now, and atop the Rec division. Islanders still struggling to find their identity, but I'm not going to hit the panic button just yet on that team. We had Lords of the Rink against TNT right here. This is, new look TNT. It's exciting to see, what's going on right now with the change in the D1 division. We're going to see if they are able to continue their dominance. And this game they did. They won a 5-1 game, very defensive based. Only 12 shots for LOTR, which it's relatively low, so that's good team defense right there. They had 2 goals from Scott Bodie, not Bode, who subbed in. Magnoise subbed in, had a goal and an assist, and Amit threw in 2. So that's a pretty decisive win there for the TNT team. And in the late game of the night, we had the Lucky Pucks against the Puck Mafia. Lucky Pucks, have been back-to-back champions right now in the division. They started out 0-1, but they did get their first win of the season here against the Mafia. This was a game where we had Steve had 2, Mike and Jamie each had 1, and Griffin scored as well. And the team looked pretty solid there. What makes Lucky Puck such a good team is that they don't have any one superstar, and their goal scoring comes from every different player. They play great defense, and goaltending is rather strong. And this is why Lucky Pucks do win in the playoffs, because you can't take one player out of the game and then you can't shadow someone and just assume that you're going to win based on that. You need to shut down the entire team, which is a very, very difficult task. So MDHL season really starting to take form right now. We're gonna see what's going on in terms of standings later on in the season. We're about 3 weeks in. Three weeks in. Hard to tell right now, but things are starting to shape up. So we are going to jump to some DCHL Sunday action right now. This was a action-packed game, action-packed week full of games. Last week we had some cancellations due to weather. This week there were some worries about that, but weather cooperated and we made it work. Early game we had Hockey Dead versus Slashing Pumpkins right there. Sumit scored early in the first for the Hockey Dead, but Pumpkins respond. John gets a power play goal to make it a 1-1 game, but late in the game, Derek O'Halloran, last week's guest on the podcast, comes up huge to get the game winner, and it just goes to show you, if you're on the podcast, you will get a game winner next week. Not a guarantee, but it's also not a guarantee against it. So keep that in mind as we're looking for more podcast guests in the future. We had Street Sharks versus Lucky Sevens here. This was a interesting game. Street Sharks still looking to find their identity. The team's playing well, doing a good job overall. But Lucky Sevens, hands down, probably the favorite to win the RAC division. This was a 1-0 game. Lucky Sevens got the lone goal. Sam scored from Tom early in the first, and from there, no one else got on the scoreboard. Looks like Ryan made 29 saves in net, so he's definitely showing how he is. He's a very good rec goalie, and I could easily see him playing in higher divisions. I don't know if he's new to goaltending or not, but I would think that he'd get some sub action in D4, and maybe from there get some D3 action. That's you climb the ladder, and I think he might be ready for a bigger division. A little more faster, a little more higher up on the food chain kind of division. Lucky Sevens are a very strong team, and to hold them to 1 goal is pretty impressive on 30 shots. Goonies Stingrays. This is, oh my gosh, this is a game right here. So the natural order of things might have been restored with the Stingrays this season. They they had a really weird season. Couldn't really buy a win as much as they tried. But this season they are coming back pretty dominant right now. So this is a game where we had a 7-3 Stingrays. This is Stingrays of old here, just putting up goals left and right. So Stingrays got one from Christe, hat trick from Felice. Scotty Fairchild with a goal, Scotty LaFoon with 2 and an assist. I remember saying on Nantel also had 4 assists, or shout outs to Nantel. The guys who throw the sick passes don't always get the love, so he's gonna get a little love here. I said at the start of the season that Scotty Fairchild, Scott LaFoon, having LaFoon back was gonna be a big deal, and adding Scott Fairchild would go a long way. and they're definitely contributing in scoring. And I mean, more often than not, you can look at the scoreboard and say, hey, he's throwing up some goal, he's doing that. Easy to kind of assess their value. But it's the three goals allowed that I know Scott Liffoon plays defense a lot of the time. That the fact that giving up fewer goals, giving up fewer shots on goal, and those are things that don't really show up on the scoreboard in a stat sheet as easily. You got to dig for them, but I'm pretty sure those two additions have gone a long way. Rachel, Austin, and Seth scored for the Goonies. Goonies are 3-2 this season. I actually think that the fact that they're not just winning every game is actually really good for them. They, sometimes you need some conflict. Sometimes you need to lose some games so you figure things out. If you're winning every game, you're gonna get lazy. You're gonna rest on your laurels, and maybe that's what happened in the Goonies last few seasons. So we'll see what happens. This D3 division is getting really, really good. And speaking of the D3 division, we had Arabian Nights versus the Zambonis. Zambonis missing a few people. In terms of scoring, Andrew Marshall, I don't believe was there. But they may do. This game ended up 2-1 Arabian Nights. Andy Markowitz scored from a mitt. Sam Brinker scored from Neil Mosier. In the first and second period, respectively. Second and first, respectively. Zambroni's got a goal by Alex Jones, and were unable to equalize it. So, this is a game where Zambronis are going toe to toe against the defending champions. I don't think they were really missing anyone as well. So that's should be confidence for Zambronis right there going in. Going into mid-season. You can definitely figure some stuff out and get back on track. But I wouldn't count Zambronis out. So we had Gwendolyn Gladiators against First Ladies Jacqueline. So Gwendolyn moved up to 2 teams this season in D4. First Ladies moved up to 2 teams in D4. There's going to be some growing pains. This was a very good game, though. We had Rachel scored early on, first period, from Wendy and Emily Summers. But Eric responded for Gladiators with an unassisted goal like he does. And in the awesome goal of the day, this would have been your Kevin Foley real estate goal of the game, goal of the day. Dan Cordella scores one from Cena and Juliet. So I was off a face-off or something like that. Juliet ended up winning the ball around center ice at the boards. She threw it off the boards to Cena, but she threw it in a way where it bounced and he was able to get to it on his stick. Cena threw it across, and then it was one time by Dan, and it was just a beautiful tic-tac-toe play. It shows you that chipping off the boards is good, looking out for your partner is good, and cashing in when that ball gets there. And that was a huge goal for Gwendolyn. I mean, that was the game winner in the third period. It was an awesome looking goal, and it was definitely a real confidence booster for the team. So awesome for the Gladiators. Fingers crossed they get some more sick plays like that, so we can talk about them. And we had All Blacks IPA. This D3 division, you just can't figure it out right now. So last week, IPA took down the Stingrays. And this week, All Blacks really dropped the hammer to IPA here. Wendy scored an unassisted goal early. Then Mike Johnson, had a hat trick. David scored for IPA. It was a weird goal. We're not gonna discuss that one here. But then Wendy scored a late power play goal to make it a 5-1 All Blacks. When All Blacks have their team, when they've got their full squad, when they got Mike there, when they got Vic there, Jamie Cook was there, played a good game. When they got their full team, they're very competitive, and I feel like some of the roster consistency issues were what kind of hurt them last season. This D3 division is really looking good. There's Zambroni's lagging a little behind, but if they can figure it out, I think they'll be in great shape. I mean, every other team's within 2 points, and I mean Zambroni's get a couple wins, they're right back in it. So I mean, this is probably the closest division is D3. You've got no real spread, in terms of teams. Any team can win, and I feel like D3 might be the new D4 in terms of competitiveness and high quality hockey. A lot of goal scoring though. So speaking of goal scoring, we got the D2 action here. We got Ball Hogs against Flunk Masters. Ball Hogs undefeated still, and it'll stay that way because They get goals from Maddie, Chris Thorpe, Alex, Adam Marcus, and Alex Ortiz again with the second one. Mel had a great game in net. 25 saves on 27 shots, and against the Funkmaster team with all the goal scorers in the world: Keith, Simon, Sean, Alex, Jamie Brown. I mean, the team is loaded. And to give up 2 is a real testament how good Mel is in that. So, it's Bill Hogs are a hard team to figure out because they have so many different players who can score goals. They play a great defensive game. If you don't see a weakness in a team, they're generally going to be hard to beat. You can't just take Alex out of the game because Adam will score and Chris will score and Owen will get a goal or here and there. So I mean, Ball Hogs as a team seem to be very well rounded, and they're still undefeated right now. They're going to have a very exciting matchup against Untouchables next week, and that will really help figure out where this D2 division's at. We had some Youngbloods Jager bomb action right now. This was a game. Joe Fru scored on a breakaway early on. That was pretty awesome. Not gonna lie. Joe scores a lot of kind of grindy goals. So to see him take a breakaway and then roof one was pretty fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. And Taylor scored. AJ got a goal and then Taylor threw an empty netter. It was 4-0. Jagerbomb's missing Boris, missing a couple players, but it was a pretty stacked squad, and Youngbloods really brought it to them. I think the team chemistry between Youngbloods is going a long way, and when you got Taylor on the team, it goes a long way. That's a superstar right there that you can really build a team around. She makes everyone around her better. We had Lizards against the White Walker / Goldsteins. A very good game. Goldsteins get an early goal from Abdul from the point from Alex Roth on a face-off. And it's winning a face-off such a big deal. It led to the Goldsteins' first goal, 1-0 Goldsteins. Bill Weeks scored off a face-off from Brennan. Again, these little things go a long way, and if 2 face-off wins led to 1 goal each. Brennan ended up scoring a real goal, a bit of scrambling in front of that. Brennan put it in. But then Keith scored 1 unassisted, a couple minutes left in the third to make it 2-2, and it ended 2-2. It was a really good game. Both teams look really strong. They played at a very high level, and it was a really fun game to watch. I feel like it's there's a little kind of like a tier system going on where it's like Puck U and Mercury Rising and Puck Buddies are kind of there up at the top, and there's like that second kind of tier, and I feel like Lizards and I feel like Goldsteins are in a really good shape, good position to kind of knock those off and really be more competitive and edge in there. So we'll see how it happens in the upcoming weeks, but I feel like both of these teams are just looking to break out. Puck Buddies against Puck U was a really great game. This was a game where Jake Smith just kind of took over. Jake's not. He's an amazing player. He's not known for his goal scoring, but he had 2, and he had one of them was just a sick roofer shot that he just buried. It was very impressive. Beat Sean right on the glove side. So he had 2, and then Sean Miller scored, and then Joe Fru threw an empty netter. Not his most glamorous goal, but empty netters still count. Brad got one on the power play, and Felice scored from Jake. So new look Puck Buddies go down to Puck U. We had Mercury Rising against Redcoats here. Mercury Rising might have set a league record with 132 shots in the first period in the game. 111 in the first. Crazy game for them. It was just don't know what happened. I don't know how you could shoot that many in one period and only score 1 goal. So we're gonna have to get the stats guy on that one over scoring that game, Suds. But Lindsay had 2 goals. Scott Bodie scored again. Scott had a big day today, man. I guess he scored a couple on Wednesday. Scored on Sunday. He's got a lot of goals. And then Zach scored. The common thread with all those goals, AJ in his return to the DCHL had 4 assists, 1 on each of the goals. So I guess AJ played in the league, was left for school, looking for a job. He's got one in the Virginia area, much to the delight of the Mercury Rising team and much to the chagrin of any team that is currently playing against him. But that being said, AJ is really cool, and glad he's back, and hopefully he plays with you and not against you because he makes life harder. In the final amazing game of the day, we had the Guerrilla Gang against the Untouchables. This was and I don't even know how to describe this one. I'm glad we got this one on film, hopefully, at some point. First period was a 1-1 game. Bill Weeks scored. To lead off the scoring, Jay Hunter responded for Untouchables. And then it was all Guerrilla Gang. Josh Lerner scored. Manny scored. Untouchables got one by Mark Mager, but then Shane scored. Shane O'Fallon, and then Shane Riz, and then Austin, and then Josh Lerner. And we got an 8-2 game. But Untouchables came back and brought it. They got goals from Jay Hunter. That's a Jay Hunter hat trick right there. Joe Shea scored one. Adam Goldberg, Brian got one, and that was an amazing comeback for Untouchables. But they came up just short at 8-7. So it just goes to show you in D2, no lead is safe, which is pretty awesome. But that being said, the appeal of D2 is just there's so many goals. It's so offensive based, and it's very fun to watch. So. Great game. Guerrilla Gang needed it. They were, kind of lagging a little behind, but that's okay. They're figuring it out now. A little championship hangover, if you will. Untouchables, that's their first loss of the season. Hopefully they come strong and rebound against the Ball Hogs. Quick look at standings right now. There's very few undefeated teams. Puck U is 3-0. Ball Hog, that's D1. D2, Ball Hogs 4-0. D3, everyone's taking a loss. D4, we got High Rollers 4-0 in the D4 Metro Division, and in Rec there's no one undefeated. So I think in terms of parity, the league's getting a lot better, and I feel like on any day most teams can beat other teams. So let's fingers crossed it stays, and we have high quality games. So on that note, we're going to be done for the day. Quick little reminders, like the DCHL Leagues page, so you can get news on the streaming and all that stuff. Speaking of streaming, we are going to try to stream as many games as possible next Sunday. So if you're interested, just talk to Suds or someone who's up there streaming. Say, hey, I'll do a game or something like that because it's fun. Rumor is there's going to be awesome orange chocolate. So if you want some chocolate, come up there, stream a game, and you get some great chocolate. Not a guarantee, but it'll almost certainly be there because I do not lead people on with free chocolate. So, on that note, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week.